Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
I'm Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. So we have made it to
Season 1.
Season 1 finale.
Done. Wow. 12 episodes.
Once we talk about it, done, yeah. But we've seen them all. Mm-hmm. You've now seen them all. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Season 1, Episode 12, Prophecy Girl today. But I don't even know if I've discussed this with you, so let me know what you think. But I think at the end of every season, we'll do just an episode. It will be shorter. Basically talking about just like a recapping of the season, like what we thought, like opinions, things we liked, what we didn't like, things that we want to see like more of, or things that we're looking forward to like finding more about or whatever. So we will have kind of like I would call it the postmortem. Nice. Season 1 postmortem next week. So, but obviously we'll talk about the finale today. So we can keep our overall thoughts for that episode. But I'll come up with some notes and stuff that we can kind of think of, so you can think about things and come with.
I'm glad I kept all my notes from all the previous shows then.
Yeah, I know. I'm on my first notebook, but I'm already.
Yeah.
I don't know how many it's gonna take to get through the whole show.
I'm almost. I'm not quite halfway through, I guess. Okay. Yeah,
I get 3 or 4, 3 to 5 pages of each show.
This episode. This episode's definitely one of my longer note ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one. Prophecy Girl, the season 1 finale, originally aired on June 2nd, 1997, and it was written and directed by Joss Whedon, which is pretty typical for season finales in Buffy. The synopsis is Buffy wants to resign from her life of slaying when Giles uncovers an ancient prophecy that spells out her deadly fate, as the Master's ascension from the Hellmouth is at hand. As the earth begins to crack open, Willow, Xander, and Cordelia face an army of demons and the prophetic end of the world. Meanwhile, Xander finally asks Buffy to prom with equally disastrous consequences. Equally disastrous?
No, definally not.
Equally?
I mean,
are you sure about that?
Just rejection. It's fine.
Are you sure about that? You know what I'm talking about? That guy, that meme?
No.
Where the guy's like, are you sure about that? I'll send it to you.
Okay, I don't know if I knew that one.
I'll send it to you. It's funny.
I'm always behind on the memes.
It'll be funnier once what I just did would be funnier once you see it. It'll land better later on. Okay, so I think officially finally do not get a
Slayer opening, which was the best part of this whole episode was that. I'm just kidding. Come on. There was some really good parts of this episode.
Being sarcastic. Yeah, loved that wasn't there. But we got our first previously on, I think. Maybe we've gotten a few before. Anyway.
I don't remember.
We kind of recap what's been happening so far in the season. And we've opened the episode in the Bronze. And Xander is practicing asking Buffy to the spring fling on Willow.
Poor Willow. She's just, oh man, she wants that so bad.
I know. And you can...
How does he not see that? He's such a dumbass.
Because she's looking at him like, and she's just living in this fantasy where he's talking to her.
I was her in high school. I was definitely her in high school.
I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it was tough. And she's like, well, you just keep practicing on me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
She's like, I'm going to just suspend belief that you're really practicing talk to another girl. You're talking to me.
Soak it all in, because this is the only way I'm going to get it.
Yeah, so we started with Xander on his skateboard, running into the railing when he saw Buffy, to finally in this season, at the end of the season, he's possibly going to ask her to the spring fling. So he has had enough. He is going to ask her to the spring fling.
So in spring fling, did your high school have a dance called the spring fling?
We didn't have something called the spring fling.
Okay.
We only had
they have all these names for dances in high school. Or in America.
We had like homecoming.
Okay.
Prom.
Okay.
And then we would have I almost said Thanksgiving dance. That's no. Halloween dance.
Okay.
Sadie Hawkins. You didn't have Sadie Hawkins?
No. I mean,
it's a very Midwest thing. So it's not like all of America does Sadie Hawkins.
Okay. We had homecoming and prom though, but I like all these other ones. Like I've heard of like winter formals, spring fling. We didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, we just had homecoming. Yeah. Do you know what Sadie Hawkins is? Do you know the
Girls Ask the Boys?
Girls Ask the Boys. Yeah. So Sadie Hawkins is kind of cute.
Okay.
Anyway, they're
So spring fling seems like a fancier dance, though.
Yeah, it seems like a formal.
Yeah.
Like homecoming and prom.
Okay.
Yeah, which would be formal dances.
Oh, homecoming was... Okay, our homecoming was definitely not formal.
Yeah, ours was.
Okay. People still wore their overalls.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And flannel.
No, not to our homecomings.
I don't think anybody wore dresses to ours. Definitely not.
Oh, yeah. You would dress the same for prom and homecoming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
Like, it was like gowns. Yeah, for us.
Yeah, okay. No.
Yeah.
Not out in the country.
Yeah. So Xander wants to ask Buffy, and Willow's like, well, she's not here. He's like, he's ready. He's ready to go. And she's like, well, she's not here. And he's like, where is she anyway? She's like, oh, yeah, just doing her normal thing. The usual.
The usual.
And we cut to, like, a field somewhere.
Yeah, something outside at night. That's all I know.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, maybe they're close to the cemetery, but there's no there was a grassy area.
Yeah.
And Buffy, it's a really cool slow motion.
She did say later, though, they're getting closer to the school. So it might have been something near the school, like a field, like football field, or like outside.
I feel like since Cordelia's parked on it, it's not the football field.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, somewhere probably near the school, like you said. Like Buffy did kind of give us a little bit of a location. And it's a cool, like, slow motion shot there where Buffy's falling and is getting up and just facing this vampire. I really liked that. I've loved how slow-mo they've had in the last
couple I did too. And I liked when she got up how she smiled at him. I love that smile. Yeah, she's like, I got you.
Yeah, she's getting very confident.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Getting more powerful and confident, so it's good. And we see while she's fighting that vampire that there's a car parked in the distance. And it's Cordelia, and I went for a while in this episode thinking it was Mitch.
I did too. Okay, I did until, like...
She calls him Kevin?
Yep, yeah, that's right. Like, yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Because I don't remember.
Do they not look the same? They do, right?
They look... Now that I'm thinking about it, they're different people, but...
I guess.
We didn't see her break up with Mitch. Like, it was left that they were still together.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's with somebody else.
But this is Kevin. High school, so.
I know, I just assumed it was Mitch.
But yeah, my notes wrote Cordy and Mitch.
Yeah, I did too. I had to cross it out and say Kevin ? Because I guess this guy's name's Kevin.
Yeah, same.
I wrote Mitch like through the entire thing, and I was like, wait.
I literally wrote Mitch until she said Kevin. I just because I was like, whatever.
I have it crossed out. Yeah. So I didn't pay much attention to Mitch.
Okay. So Cordy and Kevin are making
steaming up the windows in her car, and she's like, "Did you hear that?
Noise.
Did you hear that?" He's like, "No, nobody's out there. Who would be out there?" And so it's Buffy, and I don't know why they even put Cordy and Kevin in this scene, but anyway, Buffy dusts the vampire, and she says 3 in a night. Giles would be proud. So obviously that seems like a lot.
Yeah,
for her.
Yeah.
In the library, Giles is translating the codex that Angel gave him in the last episode, which remember is the air quotes lost text on the Slayer prophecies. So Angel found it and gave it to Giles to help him figure out what's going to happen with the Master or how they can avoid something bad happening. So he's working on translating it, and he's like, "This is it. This is it." And he finds like what he's looking for, and he says, "The Master will rise, and the Slayer will," and then
trails off.
Yeah, he trails off. He's kind of like not sure what he sees or doesn't want to believe what he sees.
That's what it is. He doesn't want to believe what he sees.
And he doesn't say it, so we don't know for sure what he's seen.
But we can guess.
Yeah, we can guess it's probably not good. And he goes to reach for his coffee or his tea?
Tea. It's tea.
Yeah, it's tea with like milk. I mean, he's British, so I can get down with that. And an earthquake happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it starts
like a pretty intense one.
Yeah, I mean, the library suffers some like serious damage.
Yeah, like it cracks apart basically.
Yeah, so you see Giles scrambling to a doorway. Willow and Xander are getting under the stairs of the bronze. Buffy's just like, what? Like just standing there looking around because what's she gonna do? She's in the middle of a field.
Cordy and Kevin are just sitting in the car like looking around.
Yeah, because at that point where they are, they
can't go anywhere.
Just stay put and wait till it's over. And then we go down.
To the Hellmouth?
Like down into the lair. And the Master's like, yes, glory, it's time. This is like, he does do this crazy, cringy speech. And then he turns to Colin and he goes, What do you think? 5.1?
Yeah, that was pretty good, actually.
I loved that. He's like, I am a villain. How do you think? 5.1, 5.2? What do you think? Like, what do you think it was on the Richter scale?
Did you notice that the Anointed One doesn't really say anything in this episode at all? Like, he's just kind of like
yeah.
He's background decor almost.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Does he say something when he comes up to Buffy later?
Yes,
Does he say anything?
I think he might say one thing, but like basically he just doesn't. Like, I thought he was this big important role in this, and then I don't know.
Yeah, he's interesting. We forget too when we get to the end of the episode that he's still hanging around somewhere.
Yeah, because we haven't seen what happens to him. Yeah,
like we have no reason to believe that he's dead or destroyed or anything. So
no, but all of the demons disappeared when at the end. So okay, all right.
So
I'm guessing we'll see him later.
Maybe we'll see him. Maybe. But as far as this episode goes, I did think it was lame. It was like, okay, he's fulfilled his whatever, his prophecy or whatever, by basically just being like, hey, Buffy, come over here.
I know, right?
Come over here, follow me down into the sewer.
Yep. Hold my
Any
hand.
vampire, any lackey could have done that. I don't really...
It was weird.
And again, this is like the season I rewatched the least, is season 1. So it's like some of the stuff I've just forgotten.
Yeah.
The details. So yeah, I'm like, that was it. That was the whole reason, like, all of this, like, that's all, the whole kill a boy on a first date, never kill a boy on the first date, was about trying to stop him from doing this. Okay, we'll get there. We can bitch about it then. All right.
Okay.
Yes, the master thinks he's 5.1.
5.1.
We go to the credits.
Back to the library. Oh,
and then
yeah.
we go,
Credits.
credit to say where the credits are. And we go back to the library. Giles is looking haggard.
Giles. I wrote that. I literally wrote that exact same thing. Giles looks haggard.
There's only one way to describe this poor man. Poor Giles.
So
Giles is haggard.
That's exactly what I wrote. Oh my gosh. Okay. But he looks happy and relieved when Buffy walks in. He's like, oh, Buffy. He just
he
right
looks
up.
relieved to see her. And she's like, oh man, I had a rough. He's like, first of all, it looks crazy in here because like there's a lot of structural damage.
Yep.
And he says, we're probably fine if we're down here. Like, don't go up in the stacks because it could be dangerous.
Yeah.
And she says, hey, last night I was like, there was 3 vampires. I had to slay 3 vampires. One of them was practically on school grounds, as you said.
Like,
so they're getting bolder. Mm-hmm. They're, in number, they're increasing. And she's like, well, I wish you would care. He's obviously distracted. She's like, oh my God, like my nail broke. Like, don't you even care?
I have to wear a press on.
I have to press on. And he's like, like, oh yeah. I don't really have time to talk about this because he's totally distracted by what he read in the codex.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And obviously not sharing. So he's keeping whatever he saw under wraps.
I mean,
for
I get
now.
that. Mm-hmm. And he tells her, like, I can't really talk. And she says, that's okay. I have to meet my terrible fate. And he's like, what?
What?
Biology?
What? Yeah, and she's got to go to biology. So something serious is going on with Giles.
Yeah.
In the quad, Buffy, Willow, and Xander are leaving boring bio. They're going about how boring it was. Mm-hmm. And Xander says to Willow, don't you have somewhere to be? What about that thing you have to go to?
This is the time.
Get out of here. Take a hike.
Yep.
So Willow's like, oh, yep, okay, yeah. Very awkwardly leaves, and Buffy's like, that's weird.
Because it was weird.
Yeah, it wasn't smooth.
No.
But he did kind of spring it on her.
None of this was smooth.
None of this whole thing was smooth. So Xander says he wants to talk to Buffy. Can they sit down? Which, of course, makes her nervous because anybody that's in your life, you're like, can we talk? Can we sit down and talk? You're like, oh.
I know. Your stomach just, like, clenches.
It's like, can you call me later? Or can we talk about this on the phone? Or people are like,
no. Yeah. Gross.
Can you call me? I'm like, oh, no. Just tell me what's happening.
I'm going to text you tomorrow and say, can you call me?
Or when you're like, your manager just puts like a meeting on the calendar.
Oh, God.
And it's like very ambiguous.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, God, what is this? That's happened to me a few times. It was never bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
but
I don't think
they did it every time.
I don't think they would set up a meeting if they were going to fire you. I think they would just do it.
I mean, you never know.
I guess you never know.
Xander sits down with her, and I think he actually comes out with it pretty well.
Yeah.
After all this hemming and hawing and like the babbling and everything, he just kind of comes out with it. He wants them to go to the dance together.
He's direct.
He likes her. I know we're friends. I want to be more than friends.
Yep.
And I think he actually, when it came down to it, he handled it pretty well. He was talking about like getting his feelings across is what I mean.
Because it's like it's really hard to do that. Like honestly,
I mean, he did.
It's hard to do that at any age, but in high school it's harder.
Yeah,
Emotions are higher.
I don't even I couldn't do it. I don't think so. I wouldn't be able to put myself out there like that. Yeah, honestly. So
I've done it. It sucks. It's hard.
Yeah. So especially when it goes the way it goes for Xander.
I know. Yeah, I admire him for doing it though because he had to know. He had to.
Yeah, and he's given it way more time. He's probably just killing him, like, to know what was going to happen. So so he makes it clear that that he likes her and he wants to be more than friends. And she's kind of trying to like talk around it.
Exactly. She's trying to be nice. That's the thing. She's just like, I don't want to ruin the friendship. And honestly, like that's a no. That's a no. But he needs to hear like no. So I felt kind of bad for both of them in that moment because she was trying to get it across, and he was just like, I don't think I'm getting the message. Or like like it's whatever. Yeah.
And then when she said, I don't think of you that way, he's like, I'll wait.
Oh yeah.
Ow. And she's like, Xander.
Yeah, but then he realizes he shouldn't have said that at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he fully accepts the rejection.
He just went through denial for a quick second. He had to.
Yeah, he was trying to save it. And then he does lash out because he is rejected.
Of course.
And goes for the angel.
Yeah. He had to go through all those stages.
And he says, I guess someone has to be undead or something to make time with you.
To spend time with you. Yeah, that was harsh.
Yeah. So that's what Buffy says. That's harsh.
Yep.
And he does to his credit. He says, "I'm sorry. I just don't take rejection well." Yeah. And I can understand that. He's like really wounded in this moment.
Yeah, he really cares for her, and she really feels bad.
Yeah, I think she genuinely does. She doesn't want to hurt him.
No, but she does not feel.
She doesn't feel it. She doesn't feel it. Yeah. So he wanders off, and Buffy's sitting there looking like so like sad that she had to like break his little heart.
Yep, that sucks. Because that's gonna make the friendship awkward too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the library, Jenny comes in and catches, I don't know if she catches, she overhears Giles on the phone to Angel ? Saying,
I don't know. Yeah. Is it Angel, you think?
I think because then it tracks later with when he's there later. Like, so like Angel has a landline.
I guess.
I mean, it's weird, but it makes sense.
He has an apartment.
Yeah. So he's talking on the phone to somebody and he says, come here after the sun sets. And then Jenny comes in and says, like, hey, I know something crazy is going on. First of all, you're wearing the same clothes you were wearing yesterday. Like, you look good. So she knows something's up there. And she has been hearing, like, rumblings in her little online Wicca community. She's not a witch, but her supernatural community, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All these weird occurrences. She lists a few.
Cat gave birth to snakes.
Yeah, a cat gave birth to snakes. A lake was started boiling.
Yeah, and a boy born with his eyes facing inward. Ew.
Yeah, that is messed up. Yeah. So she's like, these are all apocalypse type stuff. So I know something's going on. I don't really get why he says I don't know if I can trust you.
I know. I thought that was weird too. Well, I like how she says the end is pretty seriously nigh.
Yeah. I love Jenny.
That's cute.
Jenny's great. I love her.
But yeah, you're right. I don't know why he said that because they work together already.
Yeah. She said, I help you defeat Moloch.
The internet demon, yeah.
Yeah, and so why can't you trust me?
Weirdo.
It's not like she's like on the map. Like, it's not like she thinks he's like an agent of the master or something. Like, I don't know what he thinks that she is. But anyway, she says she's been getting these emails from brother Luca.
Luca, yeah.
Yeah, a monk, and talking about some anointed one. So that gets Giles' attention, of course.
Right.
He's like, well, he's dead. The anointed one is dead. He's trying to get more. He's like, just contact him and get all the information you can, but he doesn't want to tell her anything yet. And she's like, well, you better tell me something when
He's super curt with her.
Yeah, he's reaching the end of his tether. He's getting freaked out.
Yep.
And yeah, he's like, I'll tell you everything, but you just have to find out. And she's like, fine, I'll see what he has to say, but then you're going to spill the beans. In the hallway, I have Mitch written here. I forgot to cut this one out. Kevin is going to help Cordy set up for the dance for the spring fling, and she says, bring everything to the Bronze tonight, and then I'll meet everybody in the morning, and we can set everything up. Mm-hmm. She finds Willow, and she says, hey, the Bronze won't let us use your sound system, so can you just be really nice in your cute outfit and help us?
That I don't actually like.
Yeah, just a very like empty compliment. Help us set up the sound system. And Willow's like, yeah, sure. She's distracted because she sees Xander alone in a classroom throwing a tennis ball against the wall. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So Willow wanders off into the classroom. Willow finds Xander, and you can tell that it didn't go well immediately from his face. And I think Willow kind of approaches cautiously, like he's a wild animal.
I like how he's like, when she asks him about it, on a scale of 1 to 10, it sucked.
Yeah. So it's very obvious that she doesn't like him. Willow does feel, she's like, I'm sorry it didn't go well for you, you know?
He says that she's still jonesing for Angel, though. It's interesting how he puts the blame on Angel when it's just...
Yeah, I guess he's like, well, she doesn't like me because he's in the way.
Exactly, and that's not... I think he just feels the need to...
If it wasn't for him...
To put blame on something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the door's not open for him because of Angel.
Yeah, when it's just not open, it's not going to
be open. There's no door. It's just a wall.
No, there's no door. Yes.
It's just a wall. He says he doesn't want to go to anyway. He wants to go home, listen to country music, the music of pain, which is not untrue.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he's like, wait, we knew let's go to the dance. And Willow's like, yeah, thanks. No.
Second choice.
Yes. Yeah. No. She's like, I don't want to go to the dance with you while you were just wishing you were there with her.
Yeah, that is actually pretty harsh.
Willow's hurt.
Yep.
That she's coming second, and it was not even beyond a second thought, because he didn't even think about going with her until this very moment it occurred to him.
Which is crappy.
Yeah, it hurts her. And she says no. It's just, you should know better. And he feels bad, and she just kind of leaves him there. So now he's like, great.
This was a really good scene, though, because, like, I feel like Willow 12 episodes ago maybe wouldn't have done that. I feel like we've kind of seen her grow over these past few episodes, and she's just kind of turning more into someone who speaks up a little more.
Yeah, she's growing more of a spine.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm glad she wasn't like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because that would have been so painful for her. Even in the moment, she thought it was a good thing or that she'd want to go. So, yeah. So everybody's just in a bad mood right now.
Nobody gets what they want.
Nobody's getting what they want. Yeah. In the locker room, Buffy is closing her locker and just swinging her steak around.
Yeah, like
it's no big deal. Like nobody's watching.
Hear people.
Yeah, somebody walks by her. She puts it on the sink to wash her hands. And then blood comes out.
Yeah, that was gross.
That was nuts. Mm-hmm. So she runs into the she quickly goes into the library. So she doesn't tell Giles that blood's coming out of the sink. Yeah. And she overhears Angel and Giles talking in his office.
And she's all excited that Angel's there.
Yeah, at first she's like, Angel?
Until she hears what they say.
Yeah, so Giles and Angel are talking very animatedly about what he read in the Codex. And they're kind of not arguing, but debating.
Kind of arguing.
They're arguing? Okay. Yeah. Arguing about, like, well, you didn't read it right. Or are you sure it's translated correctly? Have you cross-checked it? Have you cross-referenced it? And they just keep going back. They're desperate to make it say something that it doesn't say. Yeah. And Giles says, no, I've checked everything. That's what he's been doing for the last, 48 hours in the same clothes he's been in. Not sleeping, not going home. And it says that the Master will rise and the Slayer will die. And Buffy overhears this.
And she starts laughing because she's in shock.
Yeah, she starts laughing. I have been that person, not all the time, in my life where it's like if you're super nervous, you start laughing. Very inappropriately. It's just a reaction that people have. So people don't get that. Like if somebody's laughing in a very inappropriate situation, it's from nervousness. Yeah. Not laughing.
Because it's funny.
Not because it's funny. So definitely she's experiencing this right now. And of course they see her and they're just like, oh no.
Yeah. And then she's like, one Slayer dies, the next one is called. And then she's like, Giles, are you going to train her?
Oh my God, that really hurt me. She's
that hurt too.
Will you train them or will they send someone else?
Yeah.
Like, is my daddy going to get a new daughter when I'm dead?
Like that? Because she just is getting replaced, basically.
Yeah.
Which is true.
And when she also says, Okay, her face, like Sarah Michelle Gellar really delivers.
I know. Yep. I knew you were gonna say that, and I was watching her face, thinking about that, and I was just like, holy crap! And then when she starts crying, I was just like, oh my god.
I think does Jesus say how he will do it? Do you think it will hurt? That killed me too. Yep. Do you think it will hurt? She's like especially such a child.
The voice, her voice changed when she said it. Like, the pitch and tone, inflection, everything.
She is very much a 16-year-old girl at that moment.
Yeah,
like she's scared.
Yeah,
and she's a teenager. And the whole thing is like they're both trying to like keep her calm, and she is not. No. She's angry and upset. And they're like, we're going to figure it out. And she says, no, we're not going to figure it out. Well, I already figured it out. I quit. Yeah, so she's basically quitting being the Slayer. And she'll live, but it doesn't really solve their issue of the Master. But she doesn't care.
No.
She doesn't care.
She feels like she's done what she has. Like, she's already been useful. So, like, great. Bye.
She's not willing to die for this.
No.
At this point. And she rips off Angel's cross and throws it on the ground. And oh my gosh, this line, she says, I'm 16 years old. Giles, I'm 16 years old. I don't want to die.
No, exactly.
Like, the scene killed me. It was so well done.
Yeah.
So good. And poor Giles is just like, has nothing to give her.
No.
Nothing to offer her.
Like, you can tell he's struggling.
Yeah. He's like, his heart is breaking, but he can't do anything for her.
No.
There's nothing. He was trying to not tell her so he could figure something out, but when she found out, he has nothing to offer her to fix the problem.
And he knows, there's nothing that can be done to fix the problem.
Yeah. So Buffy walks out, and it was oh my gosh, it's one of the best scenes of the whole season, in my opinion. I loved it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Loved it because it killed me. The angst. Willow's in her room working on something, and she kind of looks at the phone, and she looks at the picture of her and Xander, and knows that he's hurting.
Yeah, and she's a good friend.
She's a very good friend, and calls him. We see him laying on his bed listening to Patsy Cline. If he listens, at least he's listening to country music. He's listening to good country music.
I agree with that.
Because there's not a lot of it, is my opinion.
Hey, come on now.
After the 90s, it was like, forget about it.
What?
I mean, I know Patsy Cline is not in the 90s. I know this. No, but I think that for me, the cutoff is like late 90s and then no more after that.
Seriously, just Dixie Chicks. Or, the Chicks, I guess.
We've talked about this.
Have we?
I can't believe I have a friend who likes
fell out of my brain. What? That's amazing.
It's not for me. I'm not going to yuck your yum, but it's not for me. I can stomach early country. And obviously Patsy Cline is way earlier than the 90s, but it's really good. So at least he's listening to something that I think is good country. Fine. And there's next to him, there's like a book or a comic book laid open, and looks like it says Wild on the title. Is the title? Okay. I tried to look up. It wasn't in any of the trivia notes, because sometimes they have this book is here, this book is there. It wasn't written anywhere. I tried to Google it. I tried to just Google comic book Wild 1997, book Wild 1997, thinking it was be new or something. Yeah. I couldn't find any information on this book. So I don't even know if it's a comic. Kind of like a comic. So let me know if you have any idea what this is. The cover is it looks like Wild is kind of written in red, blood kind of. It kind of looks like that kind of script.
Interesting.
So just a detail that I thought obviously was put there right next to him. So I was just interested in what it was, but didn't get an answer for that. So let me know if you recognize that. In Buffy's room, she's looking through a photo album of her childhood, looking sad and reminiscing, looking back on her life. And her mom comes in and says, knows something's up with her because she didn't eat her dinner. Mm-hmm. And Buffy says, why don't we just go away this weekend?
Yeah. Aww.
Let's just go. We can have mother-daughter time. And
we can talk about all those awkward things that I never want to talk to you about.
Yeah. And her mom says, I can't. The gallery's open on weekends. And she's not getting, obviously. Buffy wants to get out of town for safety reasons and take her out of both of them out of the area.
Keep her mom safe, too.
Yeah. And she's like, is this because of the dance? And there's a whole thing. She thinks she's all upset about the dance.
Some boy
I wish.
rejected her or something.
Yeah.
Something so simple, teenagery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she says, well, I think you should go anyway. And she shows her that she got her this dress, this white dress that Sarah Michelle Gellar still has. She posted it really? Not that long ago. Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar kept it. I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send the post to you.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And it's actually really nice, and it like honestly carries to today.
Yeah, it's very classic.
Yeah.
It's timeless, it's classic. Buffy's like with the black on top, like the black jacket or whatever. That is one of the most iconic Buffy outfits in the whole show.
And just keep in mind that that's a nod to the movie. So
that's right. Mm-hmm. I think. Yeah, that is right.
It is right. I know it's right.
Yeah, you're like, I know I'm right.
I know this movie.
It's been a long time. Since youce
I actually watched it recently, so
you're fresh. You're fresh. Good. You have a fresher mind than I do.
I watched it right before we started doing this, actually.
Good. You could be the authority on that, because I am not. It's been too long.
I love that movie.
And so like if there's a Buffy Halloween thing or like a con, there's going to be a Prophecy Girl Buffy for sure. And it's a kind of like an easy outfit to put together, relatively.
Actually, yeah, white dress.
It's like
black leather jacket,
easy to pull off. Mm-hmm. So it's very iconic. So we have the dress here, and it is very pretty, and it's simple, and that was nice.
Really cute of her mom to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says that her mom says you should go anyway. She tells her whole story about her homecoming dance freshman year. She didn't have a date, and then she met Buffy's dad, and just, telling her she shouldn't, like, worry about it and go anyway.
She actually says, is it written somewhere? Which is funny because it is actually written somewhere. And then she's like, you should do what you want.
Yeah, and then Buffy says, and you had your whole life ahead of you. Must be nice.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Sad. Very sad.
Yeah, it is.
Now we go to the school. I think it's like, what is it? Like an AV room? Or like
something
a student?
Like that.
Is it kind of like a student union room?
Maybe, yeah.
Which
and
our high school didn't have.
This is where I finally started writing Kevin, by the way. Which...
Yeah, I know. I was like, this bitch. Like,
it's a little late, but...
No, it took me... I was a last horse across the finish line on that one. So Willow and Cordelia are walking through the hallway, and she's saying, like, Kevin didn't drop the stuff off last night. So Willow and her showed up at the Bronze this morning to get things going, and the stuff wasn't there.
And she's not even mad.
Yeah, she actually obviously really likes Kevin.
That was funny. She thought it was cute that he flaked on her.
I don't know why you think it was cute.
No, I would still be pissed.
And, like, I could see, like, if she's like, I'm not really that mad, so I must really like him. But I don't know why it'd be cute. But okay, Cordy. Okay. And then they look into that room that's like a student union room or an AV room. I'm not sure. Yeah. And sees them watching, or it looks like it sees people laying in there watching cartoons. And it's Looney Tunes. So you're right.
Oh, yeah. That was my question.
It's the Three Little Pigs. It's the Three Little Pigs, but it's part of like the Looney Tunes franchise. Yeah. Cool. So I would have accepted either answer.
Okay.
And so she's like, oh, they're in there watching cartoons. It's cute. But then she gets mad and opens the door, and Kevin falls out. He's up against the door, and everyone in there has been murdered by
And it's like, this vampires. Is a brutal scene. Mm-hmm. Like, this was actually pretty gruesome.
Yeah, and there's like blood on the TV, like somebody's hand. Yeah. And Willow walks in, and there's like at least 4 people are in there, have been murdered.
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. Because there was Kevin, there's the 2 on the couch, and then there's 1 in front of the TV. Yeah. So at least 4 people have been attacked by vampires and killed.
I feel like they've been getting like a little more violent as the season goes on, and this was definitely like this was the most gruesome scene that they did.
Yeah, things are amping up. Buffy's trying on her new dress in her room when her mom walks in and says that she saw something on the news, and it's Willow. Yeah. So Buffy rushes over to Willow's house, and Willow's upset, sitting in bed, told her this scene that they found, that she that room is familiar to her. She knew those people well.
Yeah.
And that they made our world theirs.
Yeah.
And they had fun.
They had fun doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've entrenched on their world, on their like comfortable, safe places, took over basically. Mm-hmm. And Willow says, like, what are we going to do? And in this moment, Buffy comes to realize that she has to face.
Exactly. This is the like, it clicks for her, basically. Because she's like, Willow's like basically her best friend. Mm-hmm. And she's traumatized, and she can't let this go on.
Well, she sees, like, even in this small way, what will happen if she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, that will be the least of their worries.
Yeah.
Like, one vampire attack in the school will be the least of their worries.
Yeah.
The whole world will become theirs. Yeah. Let alone one room in the school. So she really knows that it is on her shoulders to try. And she comes to that peace in that moment that she does have to face the master. in the Master's lair, he just starts yelling, soon, soon. And I think Colin, at that point, Colin leaves, wanders out of the lair.
Yeah, he just leaves.
To do his one task that he's been sitting down there for months. He's like, finally, I can do something. In the library, Giles and Jenny saying, okay, it's a recap for the audience too, saying like the Master tried to open the Hellmouth, he got caught in the Hellmouth, but if he gets loose, all the demons come out, and that's the end of the world, basically. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. So she says that she tried to reach out to her brother Luca, but it seems that he has disappeared. Mm-hmm. But before he did, he sent out another email blast, and it had a Bible verse.
Yeah. Isaiah 11:6.
Good, thanks for that.
Which Giles knew off by heart.
Mm-hmm. And basically, it leads them to believe that the Anointed One is a child.
Yeah.
What it said. She says, okay, we should let Buffy know. Jenny says that we should let Buffy know that she can keep her wits about her. And he says, we're not going to involve her at all, because I'm going to face the Master.
Giles steps up. Yeah, I know.
So cute. So sweet that he thinks he's going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, Giles. It's sweet. It's so sweet.
But it really shows how much he cares for her.
Yeah, he's going to die for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's prepared. For her. He's prepared to die to save her. So he's like, we're not talking to Buffy about any of this. I'm going to face the Master. Buffy overhears him, and she walks in and says, yeah, that's not going to happen.
No.
I'm going. And he says, no, you're right about, like, I need to step up and protect you, essentially. And she's like, it's not going to happen. That's not the way it's supposed to work.
He's like, nothing you can say can change my mind.
I like when he says, I'm older and wiser than you. Just do what you're told for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when he says that. I'm older and wiser than you, so just listen for once. Listen to me for once, or something like that. I love that line.
Yeah, that was really cute.
And yeah. Go ahead.
And she slugs him.
Yeah, he said, yeah, nothing you can do can change my mind. Nothing you can say. And she's like, I know. And knocks him out cold.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But she knows. They both know. Like, this is the only way it's going to go down. Like, this is the only way he's not going to go. And that's the only way she can get him not to go, is if he's just incapacitated.
And then I love how in the next scene, she's just, like, walking around in her, what's the dance called? Spring
fling.
Her spring fling dress and a crossbow.
Yeah. You will notice a trend over this show that Buffy doesn't always fight in the most fighty things. You're like, I wouldn't like go to a fight to my death in this.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Like, if I'm going to like some major battle, I'm not going to wear a skirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is the first instance where I'm like, yeah, I would change. If you're going to up your odds of coming out of this alive, I wouldn't wear a gown.
Yeah, maybe.
So after she knocks him out, she grabs the cross necklace and puts it on and tells Jenny to tell him that she said something cool when he wakes up.
Yeah, I liked that. That was cute.
And she says that, you'll die if you go after him. Maybe I'll also take him with me.
Yeah.
So her plan is that even if she dies, she wants to kill the Master.
Yep.
Anyway.
To stop everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Outside, Colin is standing there. And she's heard Giles and Jenny talking about the kid, so she knows who he is. And she's like, I know you're here, or something like that. And
I know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And they just hold hands and walk off into the darkness.
Yeah, that's it.
Good job, Colin. A+. You fulfilled your job. Oh, okay. In the library, Willow, Xander, Giles, and Jenny are all discussing how to help Buffy and like what had just happened. Xander's mad that Giles let her go. And does it look like I let her go? He's got a big ice pack on his face. He's like, I didn't let her go. I didn't let her do anything.
This burrs on my cheek says anything.
Yeah. And they're actually kind of mean to Jenny, I think, Willow and Xander.
What did they say to her?
Because they're like, why are you here? And then Willow says, like, why is she in the club or something like that when she tries to like get in the, like join the conversation. And she's like, hello, if apocalypse happens, everyone dies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're all in this together. Yeah. They're like mean to her.
Oh, yeah, that's
and forget about you. She's your teacher, guys, as well. Okay?
Snotty.
Xander they said, we don't even know where she went. And so Xander says, I can find out where she went. And he also says to Giles, because Giles is staying calm, he says, you're the Locatus of Borg, which is a reference to Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, I didn't even understand what
he said. Very fast. He said it very fast.
Okay.
I don't even think I caught it on previous watches.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a reference to Star Trek.
Okay.
And we go back to the sewers for a second, and Colin and Buffy are still just walking through, going for a little stroll together, holding hands. We see Xander arrive at Angel's apartment. Mm-hmm. So he knows where he lives somehow. Well, I mean, if Giles has his phone number, I guess Giles would probably have his address, too.
Yeah.
Giles has his information.
Yeah.
And he asks Angel to take him to the Master. Angel knows where the Master is, like where the lair is, because we've seen this before. When he sent Buffy, when she went after Jesse, and he knows where everything is down there.
And this is kind of where Angel realizes that Xander's in love with Buffy, too.
Yeah. They both realize that they're both in love with her. They have a common goal to try to help save her. Yeah. In the library, the rest of them are discussing. Jenny brings up a good point. He's like, okay, if the Hellmouth opens and like everyone's going to converge there and all this is going to happen there, where is that going to happen? Like, where is he going to come out?
Yeah, that's
Giles is like, good question. Like, he hasn't even thought about this before.
Like, why haven't we thought about this before?
Yeah. And they're going to work on that. And he also gives Willow the Black Chronicles book, which is basically about like demon dimensions and the Hellmouth, like history on the Hellmouth. So they're just trying to like put all these puzzle pieces together, help Buffy find out how to stop the Master, find out where this is all going to happen if it goes down. So there's a lot going on here. Buffy finally arrives in the Master's lair, and Colin's like, okay, bye, I'm going to go get ice cream or something.
And he just leaves, and she has to walk down on her own. Like,
my job is done. My job here is done.
So weird. Like, where's he going?
So he takes off. He's like, I'm not getting involved in this, guys. This is up to you. Like, I'm not getting involved. So Buffy's kind of walking around. He's talking in the distance. She can't find him. He's kind of just a disembodied voice.
Yeah.
And when he finally does show himself, she fires the crossbow and he catches it immediately.
Yep.
Like, it's like, no big deal. Catches it.
Like it's nothing. And she had like a good shot too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was like, maybe I can end this right now. No.
Yeah.
No. In the sewer, I love this scene. It's so funny. Xander and Angel are walking. It's just a little short scene, and he's like, were you looking at my neck?
Oh, yeah. I told you to eat before we left.
Yeah. Angel's like, I wasn't looking at your neck. You were looking at my neck. I wasn't looking at your neck. And he's like, I told you to eat before we left. The banter there. It was so good. Angel's like, I wasn't looking at your neck.
I don't think he was either, actually.
Xander is just like,
Xander's extra.
He'll see whatever he wants to see. In the library, they kind of put what they think is 2 and 2 together and think that because the harvest went down at the Bronze, that they think the Hellmouth is at the Bronze. And they're like, okay, great. The prom. They said prom. They said spring fling. They've used all the dance.
Formal dance.
Exchange. And is going to go down there. So Willow and Jenny are like, we have to warn them. So they're going to run off and warn people at the Bronze. Mm-hmm. And Giles is going to stay there and keep working the problem. In the lair, Buffy is, again, he is hiding from her. She's kind of still wandering around.
He's getting annoyed, actually.
He says he wants it to last.
Yeah.
He wants to take his time with this kill, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Savor it. And she's like, I don't want to. He's like, yeah, I can get that. I can understand that. Why you wouldn't want this to last long. And he disarms her. Mm-hmm. Outside, we see Jenny and Willow heading to the car, and they're like, oh, we don't need to go to the Bronze, because they're basically like Night of the Walking Dead vampires. They're just all coming through.
Yeah, congregating. Oh
they're all coming towards the school.
They're surrounded.
If you remember, that shot is from Buffy's dream, the very first dream sequence.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was a prophetic dream. So Buffy had this in a Slayer dream. So this is the exact same shot. So they're like, oh no, it's here. Obviously, they're being all called over to the Hellmouth, and it's not at the school. I mean, it's not at the Bronze, it's at the school.
It's at the school, yeah.
And they realize they're surrounded when they're trying to get back into the school. Mm-hmm. In the lair, Buffy tries to run from the Master, but he uses some kind of control over her. He puts his hand out.
His hand, and just she stops.
Yeah, she stops running and kind of immobilizes her or freezes her in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We dabble in this kind of power once more.
Well, she had a dream about this, right? Too. She dreamed that he was able to control her like that.
I think, the Nightmares.
In that Nightmares episode, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is something that not all vampires can do. We see it. It's something that comes up a few times. Okay. Yeah. He comes up behind her and tells her that it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if she hadn't went there, he wouldn't have got free.
No, he said prophecies are tricky things. They don't tell you everything. You're The one that sets me free. If you hadn't come, I couldn't go. Think about that. Ugh.
Yeah. So he's like, knowing that you came here actually did it. And so he bites. She's just kind of frozen in fear or shock.
You see, like, her eyes. Yeah, I was going to say her eyes, though, when he says that. Oh, my God.
The realization that she's actually made this happen.
That she's
unintentionally
killing herself, basically.
And letting him loose.
And
all in the same.
Yeah.
And so he bites her.
Yeah. Which, okay, so I will let you guys know that Ashley and I watched this episode together. And I freaked out. I was like, no!
Yeah.
Because I didn't really actually think that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know there's a second season, so what the heck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he gets, and Slayer blood is supposed to be like, for a vampire, there's like nothing better than Slayer blood.
Heroin, right?
Yeah, it's like the elixir of life. It is amazing to them.
And then he just tosses her aside.
And then she falls to her knees.
He tosses her.
And then she falls into a pool of water in front of her.
Face down.
Says, by the way, I like your dress.
Yeah.
Oh, bird, master. Yeah. I gotta say, that was pretty bad. Pretty badass, master. So she's just laying there, passed out in a puddle of water. Not good. It's not looking good.
He's able to break free, just like the prophecy said.
Yeah, and he goes up to his...
He's free.
He goes up to his little, like, barrier, and it bursts, and he just walks through.
Yeah.
Xander and Angel kind of see this happen. Like, they kind of see the light through in the distance, and so it's too late, and they run in there, and Angel gets to her first and lifts her out of the water and says she's dead.
Did you notice anything when Angel lifts her out of the water? He's completely out of breath. He's huffing huffing, and you hear it, and then a second later, he's like, you have to do this thing because I can't breathe.
I mean, you can't talk without breath. I mean, we're gonna go
but
there.
I mean, like, it was so loud and dramatic. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the vampires huff and puff through this whole show, and you're like...
I don't think I noticed that. It was very obvious to me.
I mean,
so I was just like, oh
vampires smoke cigarettes through this whole show. It's like, how you doing that? How you smoking a cigarette? I mean, don't even get me started. We just have to suspend our belief. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Fine.
Yes. No, I know. It's annoying, especially in the beginning, because you're like, wait. Like, at least try to not breathe loudly. Like, we know you're breathing. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So he says that she's dead. Yeah. And he doesn't look too bothered by it, to be honest.
Well, I guess
that's the reaction I was expecting.
I think it was just because it was the prophecy. So he just was like, this was supposed to happen.
Oh, it happened. I don't know, guys. Okay, you won't know what this means, but I'm going to talk to anybody else. I don't know, guys. Like, compare this to something else. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but I was just going to say...
I don't know. Which side of the fence are you on? Whose toothpaste are you buying is all I got to say.
Well, like, in his defense, though, like, he can't get too emotionally involved. Or, like, he's a vampire, so his emotions are, like, not... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he hasn't... Well, we said we will question that. And he has a soul.
I guess that's true, yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
That's just my little soapbox moment. He didn't seem too distraught, to be honest.
All right. Fine.
I like Angel, don't get me wrong.
He seemed slightly distraught.
Slightly
when he found... Well, like, when he ran...
be in love with her.
When he saw her, he, like, ran to her, right?
He did.
Yeah. And he tells Xander to do CPR.
Xander joins them and says that if she drowned, there's still a chance.
Yeah.
That she's not dead for good.
Or, yeah. Temporarily dead.
Yeah. So he said, right, Angel says, you have to give CPR because I don't have breath. Sure, buddy. Mm-hmm. And so Xander gives her CPR.
Yeah.
And she comes back to life.
She does.
Yeah, her eyes open, she spits up water.
Mm-hmm. And she breathes.
And she's breathing again. Outside, Willow and Jenny are still surrounded, and they see Cordy come barreling through in her car. I forget what she said. She was there doing something when everything started going down. And she was in the area for some reason. Can't remember. Yeah. And they
I like how she's kind of part of their little gang now.
Mm-hmm. She's starting to assimilate into the Scoobies. Yeah. So Jenny and Willow jump in her car and they're like, we need to get to the library. And she's like, okay. And she speeds towards the door and just barrels through the hallway, and
drives through
the school. And Giles hears it. He's like, what the? What's going on? And they come to a screeching halt in front of the library. And I love when they all get out and they're all, they're just screaming at the top of their lungs, trying to get into the library because the vamps are right behind them.
Yeah.
Screaming bloody murder. I love that.
The master's on the rooftop looking out at his new world.
First they break, let's go back a little bit. Once they get into the library, they barricade the doors with bookshelves and everything. And we kind of see in the rubble a little tentacle.
I thought it was a snake tail, but it's not. But it looks like a snake, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a little like a snake, and it's kind of just like trying to make its way out of the floor of the library.
Yeah, it's not okay.
At the top of the school, we see the master comes off to the rooftop, and he's just checking out his domain now. He's checking out Sunnydale.
Lay of the land.
And is loving it, yeah, before the chaos really gets started. And later, they get Buffy up, and she says she feels strong, that she feels different, and that she's going to go after the master.
Yeah, because they tell her, like, oh, maybe you should rest. Like, you just died.
You just died. Maybe take a minute. And she's like, no, I feel good. So I don't know if that's from being bitten from the master.
I think so. That's what I'm going to guess. Because, like, you were saying that, like, Slayer blood is, like, crack to him. So maybe her being bitten by him is, it makes her stronger, too. Like, it's a symbiotic thing, maybe.
Yeah. So she's ready to go. In the library, they're barely holding things together. It's chaos. Willow and Jenny run to the stacks. There's an entrance to the library through the stacks.
And the demons are coming in through the stacks.
They're coming there, and they're trying to, like, put bookshelves over, and everybody's screaming and freaking out. And it's I like when Cordy bites the vampire. She's like, "See how you like it." Bites his hand. And the tentacles are starting to get a little wild. They're starting to, like, come out a little bit more. Nobody's really noticed them yet, though.
Starting to not look like a snake now.
Yeah, like a few things. Learning to look at a few things, but nobody's really noticed them yet because it's just chaos. All these vampires are trying to get into all the entrances of the library, and everybody's trying to hold down the fort. I think Cordy yells something like, "Somebody help!" And then it cuts to Buffy, Xander, and Angel, and the Buffy theme song's playing.
Yeah, I like that, actually.
That was fun. That was fun. And she's marching. She's in front of them. She is, like, on a mission. And he says, "How do you know where the master's going to go?" And she's like, "I know.
I just know.
Yeah. So she has this connection now, like, where she just knows where he is. In the library, a tentacle grabs Willow's foot, and Jenny starts screaming. And then the rest of that monster pops out, and it's like this, like, big worm, multi-headed.
It's three-headed. So, and Giles calls it something. I missed what he said,
does he?
though. He did. I think so. I think he called it something. And I don't know, like, did you ever study Greek mythology? Because, like, a three-headed demon was, like, Cerberus, which was, like, the guard to Hades. Guard dog for Hades.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's what they were alluding to, but I just thought that was interesting, the three-headed thing.
It is. Yeah, I didn't even count how many heads it had. So, it kind of looks like a three-headed worm with a bunch of tentacles coming out. Yeah, so it's, like, trying to, like, get to Willow. Giles is, like, trying to hack at it. Like, it's just chaos. It's just chaos.
Yeah.
On the roof, the master is watching all of this kind of happen from the skylight. So above the table in the library, there's a skylight. And he's like, happy that his, like, all of his demons are starting to, like, crawl out of the Hellmouth. And Buffy comes up there and confronts him. And he's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be dead."
I may be dead, but I'm still pretty, which is more than I can say for you.
I love that. I may be dead, but I'm still pretty.
That's my favorite line.
And he says, "But it was written." And she's, "Well, I flunked the written." So her sass is back. She's not afraid of him anymore. He's already killed her. She's all sassy. And he kind of puts his hand out again. And she kind of reacts again. Now, I think she's faking it.
She definitely is faking it.
Yeah. She's faking it. But, we don't know that. So she's we're like, uh-oh, he's got her in his thrall again.
Yeah.
In the library, Giles is still fighting that monster, and it tosses him onto the table, and it just shatters.
Yeah.
And ouch, poor Giles. And it kind of makes this, like, huge, what would you call that?
Steak.
A huge, like, like, sharp piece of wood
like
sticking
out.
Like
a stone or, like, wood, okay.
Yeah, from the table. So that's just sitting there waiting to see what happens. On the roof, Buffy, they start fighting, and she says, "Save the hypnosis for the tourists."
Yeah.
So maybe the thrall doesn't work anymore.
Something like that.
I don't think she was faking it before. I think it definitely.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was like, why would she fake it the first time?
Oh, no, yeah, the first time, no.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
like, the scene that right before this, I think she did just mess with him.
Yes.
Okay,
On the roof, I think she was messing.
But definitely in hell, no, that she wasn't thinking that.
Yeah. So she says, so they start fighting, and he says something about hell, a line, and she's like, if you like hell so much, why don't you go there? And she, like, kind of picks him up by the throat and tosses him over her shoulder. Yeah. And she does look over her shoulder, so she sees that there's this opportunity there.
Thing, yeah.
And she tosses him through the skylight, and he falls on the big, like, serrated wood that's on the part of the table, and it stakes him.
Yeah. It just looks so easy.
Yeah. His staking was pretty cool. Like, his staking was pretty cool, though. I'm glad he wasn't like every other vampire, because he is supposed to be special. Yeah. So he didn't just, like, poof. It sucked out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his bones are still there, which is different. So this was nice that this dusting was a bit different than, like, the average just vampire lackey.
It was a nice touch that his bones were still there, yeah.
Yeah. When this happens in the library, the monster, like, goes back into the Hellmouth. We see that the bones are still there. And Buffy, Xander, and I also forgot to mention that Xander and Angel were, like, watching the door going up to the roof, and just to keep the vampires off of Buffy's back. And, you know, they fight some vampires in the meantime. Nothing really consequential happens there. But they all come back into the library. Cordy's there, so Cordy is not even really asking too many questions at this point.
She doesn't seem phased, yeah.
And they kind of tell the group that Buffy did die. But obviously she's okay now. I love when Giles says, I should have known that wouldn't have stopped you.
Yeah, that was cute.
It's just sweet.
And, like, Willow's just like, oh, harsh.
Yeah, okay. Buffy was more kind of, like, comforting to her when she saw a couple dead people.
Exactly.
Her actually dying. Her friend actually dying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So they said, okay, should we just go to the party now? Like, should we go to the party? And they're like, okay. And
that was such a weird ending to me.
I could see why it would feel weird at this point.
Yeah. Like, I guess what else are you going to do? Like, you should, I guess, go back to your normal life.
They do like to blow off steam after apocalypses, generally. But you get used to it.
Yeah.
You get used to it. But yeah, it does seem a bit like, woo, you know, and Buffy's kind of looking at the master and taking it all in and processing some of this.
Yeah.
And yeah, they say, we're going to go to the dance. Buffy's like, I already got all pretty, so we might as well go. And they all walk out, and on the way out, Angel says, I like your dress. And she said, yeah, it was a big hit with everybody. And then we just look at the bones of the master, which remain there.
That was like the last scene.
Yeah, that was the last shot.
And she says loser to him.
Yeah.
Loser.
Okay. Yeah, so that is the end of season 1. That's the end of Prophecy Girl. So Buffy has defeated the master. What will happen next?
I mean, there's a season 2, so there's going to be something.
There's a few seasons left.
Yeah.
So my favorite line was, I may be dead, but I'm still pretty. And my favorite scene was the whole Buffy finding out of the prophecy.
Okay. We have the same lines and scenes.
Yeah? Okay. There was my close second favorite line was, Giles, I'm 16 years old, I don't want to die. Because, like, she delivered it so well.
Yeah.
And it just broke my heart. So that was one that I've always I felt that every time I've watched it. Yeah. So that was a close second. But that is a famous Buffy line. I may be dead, but I'm still pretty. So, yeah, okay, well, we are on the same page with those.
That's cute. Yeah.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar just did such a good job on that scene with the prophecy.
She did. I mean, this whole episode, she did really well. Like, everything. She had a kind of role with a lot of different things in this episode, and she did well. She's
getting opportunities to, like, show off her acting chops.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she'll have a lot more for sure. Yeah. But she hasn't, the season's been fairly light. So there hasn't been a lot of emotional upheaval and, like, so that will come. Whew.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So she's kind of had a few moments to really, like, let loose with her acting and stuff, and she's delivers for sure. So the stake rating I gave it was a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
And I said that because of Sarah Michelle Gellar's acting. Mm-hmm. Like, she really pulled it out and delivered in this episode. I like that Angel's back in the fold. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens, because previously we know Buffy and him have been trying to stay away from each other, and now they're back in contact, so we'll see how that goes. It's the first finale. It's a huge, big deal. And obviously it was written and directed by Joss, so this is a really important episode. Buffy dies. She died. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. What repercussions could that have?
Oh. Does that have repercussions?
Knows.
Interesting. Okay.
All kinds of things could happen. And plus, like, if you die, like, that's a hard thing for someone to go through.
I can imagine, yeah.
You like, technically flatline.
Yeah.
You've had a near-death experience or whatever. That's a hard thing. You don't just snap your fingers and you're normal and, like, process that. Like, there's an emotional toll.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's consequences that have nothing to do with that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a big deal that Buffy died. Even just for a second, she did die.
Yeah.
And I like some of the plot closures. I'm happy to see pretty much the end, that the Buffy and Xander thing wrapped up. Mm-hmm. For now. He got his answer.
Yep.
Because, I'm, like, tired of that. I'm tired of that plot.
Yeah.
To be honest. Definitely. So he got his answer. Obviously, the master storyline has come to a conclusion at this point. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to just be vague. And gosh, what else happened? Cordy's come back a little more into the fold. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the only thing I gave it a little bit off for is because I feel like once they were on the roof, it got wrapped up a little too quickly.
Yeah.
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 I feel like there was I feel like the last episode should have been earlier in the season, and maybe there should have been more of a bridge episode coming into this episode. Mm-hmm. Like the penultimate episode should have been a little bit more involved in the master and stuff. Mm-hmm. Which they really do ramp up much better every season after this, coming to this finale. Like, the stakes rise and rise and rise and rise, and then it's finale. Mm-hmm. This, it was kind of like the stakes kind of just shot up at the very end, if you know what I mean, like a graph. Like, instead of, like, the tension and the stakes rising slower as we go on, it just went, like, boop, at the very end. So I think they do much better. And, well, they have more time. They only had 12 episodes. You know what I mean? So I could take that into account. But 22, you have the time to let these things breathe and build. Yeah. So that's why I gave it a 4.5.
Okay. So I also gave it a 4.5.
Yeah.
And yeah, for a lot of the reasons you did, like the reason, I knocked it off half a steak is because like I feel like okay, she did die, I get that, so it wasn't easy for her to defeat him, but like when she gets to the rooftop, it was just like she just like knocked him over. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was a little too quick.
Yeah. And like you said, the anointed one, Colin, sorry, I always write the anointed one in my
either
book.
One is a correct answer.
So yeah, how he just had such a weird part in this episode. I was just like shaking my head at that a little bit. I was just like, okay, that's weird.
Like it was so crucial for the master not to get him. That's why.
Yeah, it was weird. So I wasn't too keen on that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, one of the things I liked best about this episode, which kind of goes over like all of the episodes, I guess, is just, again, it like really, the character development was really good. So like you said, Buffy's acting was really good in this episode. Just seeing Willow getting like stronger personality, I really liked that. Cordelia, less stronger of a personality, I liked that. Mm-hmm. Xander being less of a creep, and how they brought Angel and Miss Calendar in. So yeah, and just seeing Giles' character development even too, just because you can see how he really cares deeply for Buffy, and that shows a lot in this episode. Yeah,
especially in like we could talk more about this in a next week's episode, but especially in the beginning of the season, he is all about like nothing should be come at the cost of your duty, like your social life, anything that comes first no matter what. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the season, he's willing to die to save her.
Yeah, exactly.
And her not fulfill her duty. Mm-hmm. So like those two have come a long way in 12 episodes. Yep. Yeah. So I think in the first episode he had been like, you have to do this. If it means you die, you have to do this.
Exactly. Like he was what's that word I want? Like he kept himself separate from her, basically, like emotionally separated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Distant is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
He distanced himself. Yeah.
There's feelings there now.
And then I also liked about this episode how, like, I know that there is a second season, and I don't know when they were making this episode if they knew there was going to be a second season, but this ending closed it off. So honestly, it could have been a standalone season had they not got renewed. So I actually like that they did that as well. There's nothing worse than me getting attached to a pilot episode or pilot season, and like it's the cliffhanger at the end, and I can't wait to see what happens next, and then it doesn't get renewed. That's happened to me a few times, and it's infuriating. So
that is a great point.
They wrapped the shit up, and I liked it. It's a nice, neat little box. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with they only had they were a mid-season replacement. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, the first season is always touch and go. So yeah, I didn't even think about that, but I definitely
that made me so happy. I really don't like the cliffhanger thing.
I think there's only, I'm trying to think of how many cliffhanger finales we have. Technically, I think there's only one.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay.
Where you're like, if we don't come back that season, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. That. But they knew that there was gonna be a season after that. Okay. Because it was part of the it had already been it was like, okay, we have this many seasons left. Okay. We know this.
Okay.
Yeah. I can only think of one. Okay. And I was like, how am I going to survive 3 months this summer?
Are you gonna tell me which season it is or no?
Sure. I guess I can.
Okay. I'm not going to remember, so.
End of season 6.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely not going to remember. Okay. That's so many
You guys know.
episodes from now.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I was like, my head exploded. Yeah. It was a rough summer. Okay, yes. So next week, we are going to do our season 1 postmortem. Kimmy's choice. Do you want your question for season 2, episode 1 now, or do you want it at the end of next episode?
Let's do it now.
Okay. So the next episode is called When She Was Bad. So that's season 2, episode 1. Buffy uses a new weapon. What is it?
Oh.
Something we haven't seen her use before.
Shoot. Okay. So we've seen the crossbow. We've seen stakes. Gosh, there were some creative things she used, and I'm already kind of forgetting what.
I will give you a hint. It is an actual it's not like a household object or whatever. Like you could actually, this is not the answer. Like a hammer, it could be used. It could be used as a weapon, but it's not typically.
Oh, okay, so it's not okay.
But it's not
that's helpful.
It's not like a toaster or something stupid like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Has she used a baseball bat yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna say baseball bat.
That's a good guess. Okay. Baseball bat.
I don't know. That's It's
a good guess. Okay.
What's the name of the season 2, episode 1 called again?
When She Was Bad.
Okay, I like to write them down.
Mm-hmm. So that wraps up season 1, episode 12, Prophecy Girl. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, today our Instagram giveaway is officially started.
Woohoo!
So when this goes live, go over to the Instagram and enter for the Buffy sticker pack we're giving away.
You know you want it.
Yeah, and it will be about a week you have to enter it, so make sure you get over there and enter if you're interested, and give us a 5-star review somewhere. I'd appreciate it. Kimmy, have you done it yet?
I'm going to do it as soon as we're done talking. I'm the worst co-host ever. Oh my God.
Okay, everyone, we'll shame her every episode until she does it.
Nope, no more shaming after this one. This is the last shame.
Okay, good. Shame. Okay, do you get that reference? Okay, good.
I'm not naked.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Okay, so thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with the season 1 postmortem. Slay you real soon.
Bye.